Hold the racist, hold the bigot, special privilege just upsets us. All we ask is that you vote SEC today. Have it your way at Lutuli House today. Seriously, ladies and gentlemen, the utter insanity and absurdity that is the African National Congress governance of South Africa, leading this once prosperous and potentially wonderful nation of racial harmony after the end of apartheid down into the depths of the darkest corners of disempowerment and illiteracy and poverty. Why? Because venal, corrupt politicians across the ANC. Each day, every week, we see new cases of corruption exposing ministers and high members of government over and over and over again. Empty promises from Cyril Ramaphosa, the same man who promised us a major drive for foreign direct investment to revive South Africa's economy. Yet, South Africa's racist legislation, which the United Nations, the Human Rights Commission, all of these groups, Washington, London, Berlin, Paris, look the other way at the venal, corrupt, vile, racist legislation in South Africa because it's supposed to be correcting the historically disadvantaged. Well, after 3 decades of abuse, betrayal, discrimination by the government of South Africa against minority South Africans, I think we could throw those folks into the historically disadvantaged as well. Have it your way indeed. What am I talking about, ladies and gentlemen? The latest idiocy and abject absurdity coming out of South Africa is Grand Parade Investments, which is a majority black-owned, qualified, broad-based black economic empowerment firm with 68% of its equity held by black South Africans. So it qualifies to own a business in South Africa. But it owns the Burger King operation in South Africa. Burger King SA has 90 restaurants sprinkled across South Africa, plus a meatpacking plant that's part of the organization. Grand Parade Investments, which is a holding group, has a loss-making operation with Burger King. They don't know how to make money with it. They had trouble before the pandemic, and now they're in serious trouble. We've seen that the price that they put up for sale of 670 million rand initially for Burger King has been reduced to just 593 million. So it's a fire sale. They announced in February they would be selling this to an equity group. An outside white knight is coming to save the day and purchase their assets and let them walk away with profit on the table. This majority black-owned business in South Africa wants to sell its assets, which are making losses, and it found a buyer. It actually found a buyer. That's right, folks. ECP, Emerging Capital Partners, a U.S.-based private equity firm that wants to buy these distressed assets. So what happens? Announced in February. Should be a good story, right? Let's save these 90 restaurants, keep those thousands of jobs that are out there, and keep these businesses in South Africa with an injection of foreign direct investment, the exact thing that Cyril Ramaphosa claims that he needs for South Africa and that he successfully brought to South Africa. What a tissue of lies that story was. Instead of bringing capital to South Africa, the National Coronavirus Command Council and the African National Congress have been frightening it away. Heineken announced it would not invest in South Africa. South African breweries will not invest in South Africa. It's insane what is happening here. And now a foreign company is prevented from investing because the Competition Committee, which is designed to prevent monopolies and unfair competition, is intruding with its racism and bigotry. The commission finds that the merger would lead to substantial reduction in the shareholding of historically disadvantaged persons in the target firm from more than 68% to 0%. Who cares? What does that have to do with reality? This is about business and making a profit. Why are you racists bringing your garbage into this nonsense? This is insane. Absolutely insane, this race mercantilism. Why does that have anything to do with it? This is not a South African firm. You don't have the right, South Africa, to dictate who owns companies in other countries around the world. You don't have those rights. And to try to enforce your domestic laws, which are racist, on international firms to do business. This is exactly what I said was going to happen. In 2018, 2017, 2019, all these years I've told you that Cyril Ramaphosa's drive to get foreign direct investment in South Africa is bogus. They don't want foreign direct investment. They are hostile to business. You have a company that's willing to save a distressed asset by injecting capital and business acumen and expertise to save Burger King in South Africa. And what happens? Because the successful black owners decide to sell it to someone else, they are prohibited from selling it because the new owners don't look sufficiently dark. How can that not be racism on the face of it? Utter insanity. What if this were publicly traded stock? Would the South African Stock Exchange step in and ask for my skin pigmentation when I buy shares on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange in companies? Would they allow more than a certain percentage of people who are not historically disadvantaged to purchase shares in a company? Do you see the idiocy of this? If you don't allow people to invest, then you limit the amount of investment out there. This is moronic. We're not talking about the number of managers or board directors or employees who are historically different. We're talking about who owns shares in a company. And we're talking about a foreign company that's trying to buy a distressed asset that now is likely going to go bankrupt and everything disappears. You see how they destroy equity, jobs, and lives in South Africa. The angry, naughty children. This is beyond the pale stupid. Stupid beyond all comprehension, ladies and gentlemen. Beyond all comprehension. Emerging Capital Partners is not a South African business. Now, this isn't the only case of this. Starlink, which is Elon Musk's company that is putting satellites in space to deliver satellite internet communications around the globe in remote and rural areas to people who cannot get high-speed internet access. A little pricey today. You got to pay $500 for the equipment and $99 a month for the subscription. But that's because it's limited to North America. It will roll out around the world soon with more satellites going into space all the time. And the cost will fall, thereby making high-speed internet access something that's just a dream for people living in remote parts of the Karoo or in the Northern Cape or in Mpumalanga or Northwest or KZN in South Africa, making it a reality and an affordable possibility for them. But what happens now? Well, the South African government is insisting that Elon Musk sell 30% or give 30% of his Starlink South Africa operations to people based on their skin pigmentation, not on their qualifications, not on their business acumen, not on their experience, not on what they bring to the table, but simply to the patronage pals of the African National Congress. That's what they want. So what's going to happen? Poor, remote, rural, mostly black South Africans will not get access to affordable satellite internet connectivity, which could markedly improve their lives. How do these people exist in office? You have a chance to change this on October 27th, 2021, South Africa. Make it happen. Make it happen. Cyril Ramaphosa and his flowery language and fairy tales that he constantly tells about foreign direct investment, you've scared away foreign direct investment time and time again. Nobody in their right mind is going to invest in a country in which the government is tossing about an amendment to steal property. Not just land, but property. What's to stop the government of South Africa from stealing my company that I established and then give 30% equity to somebody in South Africa because of their skin pigmentation? I established it. I make a success working 18 hours a day, making lives better in South Africa, creating jobs, paying taxes in South Africa, giving away my equity to someone else. And then what's to stop you from coming along and going, well, you know what? We're going to take this in the interest of public fairness. No, you're not a real country. South Africa's gone, ladies and gentlemen. It's gone. This is just the carcass and the edifice collapsing around us as we speak. And it's up to South Africans to go to the polls and deal with this by voting the African National Congress out of power in municipal elections in 2021. Black, white, brown, whatever you are in South Africa, you are facing an existential crisis from your own government and the absurdity of its laws. It's racist legislation, which targets people. All people are the victims, white, black, and brown, not simply minority whites. Everyone suffers from this idiocy. What happens now to Grand Parade's event? Their stock is tumbled. It's plunged as a consequence of loss of interest in the stock after finding out that they can't salvage this loss-making operation and sell it to a U.S.-based business because that U.S.-based business doesn't have 30% historically disadvantaged people who are owners of the company. This is idiocy of the highest order. Futsek ANC. Futsek. Hold the racist. Hold the bigots. Special privilege just upsets us. All we ask is that you futsek today, ANC. Have it your way, Latuli House. Have it your way as South Africa rots and burns around you. Folks, if you're not a subscriber to Chris White Africa, hey, why not become one where you get objective, independent, journalistic analysis and commentary with news reporting right here on Chris White Africa, events all across Africa and those who influence the continent. Thanks a lot for your time, your patronage, and your support. And take a look at this story, folks. Look into it. Grand Parade Investments, a majority black-owned company, cannot sell a loss-making venture and salvage some equity because the competition committee has said that not enough historically disadvantaged people will be shareholders in the new company. You know what I have to say about the competition committee? Fuck sec. You people are delusional.